welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here to read 30 mangas in 30 days. Hello, Kelsey from the future here. Before you continue with this vlog, obviously it has not been 30 days in July yet, so something happened during this vlog. I'm keeping it, I'm posting it because everything I intended to do with this vlog happened and it worked and it did what it was supposed to do, but obviously the challenge did not last 30 days. So just wanted to make that clear in case you were confused before we move forward. So if you've been watching my channel for a bit of time, I have been in a very intense reading slump, partly to do with life slump. By this point, I think everybody is aware I am with child and it has taken a toll, especially the first 3 months, on wanting to do anything. And this month, because I'm entering into the second trimester, I'm feeling a bit more funky fresh. I feel like I have a bit more energy. I feel like I can do a bit more. So I've decided that I'm going to read 30 mangas in 30 days just so I can catch up with my reading goals. Not that reading more books means that I'm a better person or a better reader or any of that stuff. It's just for me personally, I feel like I should have been at a higher number by this point, and I want to feel better about myself. I want to get back into reading. And reading manga, it makes me happy. It's a lot easier for me and it just makes me feel more productive, better about myself. So please, it has nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with me and my little brain up here. So today is July 1st. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadians. And I will be reading the first manga for this vlog, which is The Girl from the Other Side Volume 4 by Nagabe. This is a manga series I started probably around last year, but I'm going to focus more on trying to finish it this year. And this follows, much like the title implies, it takes place in a sort of dystopian, it's either futuristic or like Puritan futuristic, where a town is sort of isolated because a virus has spread in the outside and they tried to contain all the humans in. But what we end up following is this little girl and a teacher who has taken her in. This teacher is a monster and they live on the other side. He found this human girl and he vows to protect her from the virus from the people from the other side. Obviously they cannot touch, otherwise he will spread the virus to the little girl. And right now where we are in the story, they are currently being sort of hunted, watched by the inside guards. And obviously there is suspicion around these inside guards, government, puritanical leaders, which I love. Just with the format of all of my manga vlogs, so I've done 2 24-hour manga vlogs as well, which I will leave linked up above. But I basically give you a synopsis and then I read it and then I come back and I summarize it. I think that's going to be the most effective thing for me, but this is probably just going to be a summary review. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and let's get into the first one. So I'm back. It's been about half an hour and I finished the 4th volume of The Girl from the Other Side, and as expected I really enjoyed this one. So much like with the previous volume, volume 3, this one expanded on the lore a bit more while still remaining within this more like big and mysterious storytelling. We expanded much more on like the curse, and we really are starting to see how the 2 main characters are different from the 2 populations that we have. Speaking of, I mention this every time I finish a volume of The Girl from the Other Side, but I just love how wholesome and like cute their little found family is. And I think it contrasts so well with the more sinister world around them. I found this one to be a bit more quiet than I would have wanted, but I think this worked for really expanding the lore in subtle ways and tackling a like difficult moment that will be in Shiva's life. Shiva being, of course, the little girl. If you haven't read the manga series, you wouldn't know the names of the characters. But every volume really ends on a engaging cliffhanger. So I'm always finished reading them and like itching to read more, especially because they're so easy to get into and mysterious and like difficult to like understand the entire lore. So you really have to read all the volumes. So very much enjoyed this. Happy it was my first read of the month and I gave it 4 stars. So tomorrow I think my plan is to pick up Yona of the Dawn, but I'll let you know tomorrow at the end of the day what I decided to read. Hello, so it's the end of the day. It's a bit late. It's 11:11. Ooh, make a wish. So basically I don't go to bed before like 1 in the morning. I know that's really late, but that's the time I go to bed. And I think I'm going to be reading Yona of the Dawn volume 4. This follows a Princess Yona whose father dies on her 16th birthday. As a witness, she and her bodyguard Hack run away, leave the castle because obviously they don't want to be murdered either as the only witnesses. And the story takes off from there. It's a sort of bodyguard romance. I've been reading it. It's fluff for me. I've been enjoying it for what it is. So I plan to read it. It won't take me too long and I will come back to update you either now or maybe in the morning. We'll see. Through editing, I have realized that I never summarized Yona of the Dawn volume 4. If you hear little pitter patters, it's my sister's dog that I'm taking care of. So I have to play with her. But I realized I never summarized my feelings for Yona of the Dawn. I jumped straight into So Cute volume 2. I absolutely love this volume of Yona of the Dawn. I think it was definitely one of the funnier ones so far, and really had like each individual character's personalities really shine. We gained a new companion in this one, and I just fear that the blue dragon will become my new obsession. I really, really like this character. I also feel like this volume perfectly encapsulated the much needed backstory of the dragons while also keeping up with like the charm and appeal of the overall series. My one complaint, and it's definitely like a more personal one, is that there wasn't enough Hawk for me in this volume, but they more than made up for it with the backstory of the blue dragon. So I gave this volume a 4 out of 5 stars. And then what ended up happening is that I never really gave you a synopsis for So Cute It Hurts, but basically So Cute It Hurts is a manga series that involves 2 twin siblings, Megumu and Mitsuru, and in order to, I think it's deal with the subjects that they don't really like in school, they swap clothing, and so they attend each other's schooling and they develop crushes on unlikely people, and so now they have to sort of navigate this sea of misunderstanding while also still trying to like get good grades in school. So I really enjoyed the first volume, so I was really excited to get into the second volume, and now you will see my summary, my feelings for that one. Hello! So I haven't updated in a couple of days for this manga vlog just because I've been busy and I will continue to be busy. So herein lies an issue that we will have. Let's talk about the book I read for July 3rd. So the third manga book for this manga vlog, which is So Cute It Hurts by Go Ikeyamada. And this is the second volume. I read the first volume, really, really loved it. It was a recommendation from a long time ago from a podcast that I used to listen to where they would read manga together. This series is so cute. So I come off of every volume thinking that the main characters and their love interests and just the overall story to be like absolutely adorable. It's a very like funny concept, and the romantic love interests are very cute, very sweet. It's all very wholesome. It was so cute that I was about to go write my review, and I was like, let me go read the other reviews, and I ended up remembering that there was like sort of a sexual assault scene in this one between a teacher and the love interest for Mitsuru, who is cosplaying as a boy, as her brother. She stumbles upon her love interest getting kissed by one of the high school teachers. The love interest pushes her off, so it's like, I guess, sort of addressed that way. Like, he does say it's wrong, and he calls the teacher a loser because she's hitting on younger kids, which, like, fine. Like, I think it needs to be addressed by an adult doing it, obviously. It was very jarring, and it's set up in a way to be like not a meet cute, but to set up a more awkward fumbling between Mitsuru and the love interest. However, it is still weird, so I just want to like put that out there that does happen. It's very fast. The character does call the teacher a loser. It's not addressed in the best way, but I just want to put it out there that it does happen. Obviously, they weren't going to last forever, hiding as their opposing sibling. So the ending of this one, the plot really thickens, and I am interested to see where this goes. This book also has deaf representation in it. I don't know if it's own voices or not, and I am not deaf myself, so I can't talk about the representation fully. However, it does feel very respectful, but just keep that in mind that I'm not 100% sure if it is own voices. But yeah, so I give this 3 stars. It's the third book I read, so a check mark for that. And now I have to solve my solution of not reading a manga yesterday, being really busy today, being really busy tomorrow, and I could maybe get away with Sunday, but I'm also really busy on Sunday. We're doing a gender reveal for my child, so I decided why not read an omnibus that has 3 volumes in it. That way I cover all 3 days. So I have the second omnibus in One Piece. I'm very excited. I love One Piece. You already have the playlist for the 24-hour manga reading vlogs where I did read the first 3 volumes of One Piece in them, and I absolutely fell in love. I gave it 5 stars. So I'm very, very keen to read the next 3 volumes. This is in the East Blue arc. So I'm definitely going to pick this up when I can today, tomorrow, and Saturday, just so that I can knock out 3 volumes so that it counts. I find this is a solution that I am okay with. Usually I would count this as 1 volume, and on Goodreads I will, but for the purpose of this monthly vlog, I'm going to count all 3. One Piece is the story of a young boy named Luffy who is very excited to become one of the greatest pirates of all time, or the greatest pirate of all time, excuse me. His life changes when he eats a gum gum fruit, and he is able to stretch to like unimaginable lengths. And years later, Luffy is trying to gather his own pirate crew so that they can find the legendary One Piece. So I'm excited to continue. We'll see where it goes, and I will come back to you when I have an update. So I'm coming to you lots of days late. I am already running behind, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But I did finish the second, is this the second omnibus? I always forget. Yes, 4, 5, and 6. So the second omnibus of the One Piece series by Ichiro Oda. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. These 3 collected volumes did a great job at introducing what I'm assuming are 2 new characters to Luffy's crew. Both Usopp and Sanji are really, really, really interesting characters, so I really enjoyed them. And they're sort of like very opposites, which I find really interesting to like have this contrast of like 2 characters within the book. And I'm really excited to see how the Straw Hat crew overall starts to work together once we, I'm assuming again, solidify Sanji as a member of the crew. I also, for similar reasons, really liked the 2 villains that were presented in this omnibus because they're so opposing to Luffy's more like positive and silly nature. Really excited to see like how Luffy struggles with this, especially the new one that we're introduced to in the second half of the omnibus, just because he's like really evil for evil's sake. So was the first villain that was introduced, and I just find that to be really, really interesting, a really interesting dynamic between the 2. This was a success, and of course it counts for 3 days because it's technically 3 volumes. Am I cheating? Maybe, but you know what? I don't care. So because it is July 9th, this means that I'm behind another 3 volumes. So why not pick up another omnibus and focus on this today? So this is Full Metal Alchemist Omnibus Volume. So this is the Omnibus Volume 5, but it contains volumes 13, 14, and 15 in this. So I'm well into this series. But basically, the Full Metal Alchemist series follows 2 brothers, Edward and Alphonse, and in a sort of alchemy experiment gone wrong to bring their mother back, Edward loses his arm and his leg, and Alphonse sort of loses his whole body and becomes like an embodied spirit inside a suit of armor that they find. One of the goals Edward has is to find the Philosopher's Stone in order to sort of revert back to what they were before they did this experiment. So Edward becomes a state alchemist. And where we are at this point in the series, obviously it's expanded so much. And we're dealing with Edward and Alphonse, dealing with the like 7 deadly sins villains. I'm really excited to continue with this series. I always love diving back into the Full Metal Alchemist series because I really enjoyed the characters of Edward and Alphonse. So I'm excited. I want to pick this up right away and hopefully I can speed through it so that I'm caught up by the end of today. Hello. So I just got back from a chalet weekend with my friends. I am very behind, but let's talk about my feelings for Full Metal Alchemist. But this encompassed volumes 13, 14, and 15 of the series overall. This omnibus volume dumps a lot of developing information of the series overall into the reader's hands. And while it can feel overwhelming with the amount of things we're learning, it is crucial for the rest of the series. I definitely found this volume to be a major turning point because Arakawa is diving into the backstories of certain characters, introducing new characters, new villains that will hint at grandiose and new storylines. So I enjoyed this overall. I found it to be really, really, really interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed the backstory portion of the book that occurs at the end. Very enjoyable. I gave this 4 stars. And that brings us to our 9th volumes in 30 days. It is currently July 15th, and that means I have 2 omnibuses that I could read to be able to catch up to today. I'm in between reading Attack on Titan Omnibus Volume 1 or the next One Piece just because I'm into the story right now, but Attack on Titan gives me a bit of a break. I watched the 1st and 2nd season of the anime, so I'm well aware of what occurs in this volume. This could also be a pretty quick read, so I think to give myself a little bit of a break, I'm going to end up having to read both of these today, but just to cut into a new story and a story that I'm more comfortable with, I think I'm going to focus on Attack on Titan today, and then if I have time later today, read this, and then I will be caught up. Hello, so I finished Attack on Titan Volume 1, well, the Omnibus Volume 1. It really contains volumes 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if I spoke about what this is about, but Attack on Titan follows a society in a dystopian adjacent world to us, and one day humanity was attacked by these like Titan figures who seemingly eat humans for no reason aside from just a killing nature. Society has solved this issue by putting all of humanity in like a compound of like 3 rings. In 100 years, a Titan has never been able to get through the wall until one day they encounter this colossal Titan, and this Titan kicks a hole into the wall, thus allowing the other Titans to come in, start devouring people. And then obviously the story takes off from there because they begin to develop strategies and ways to deal with the Titans. Some of it a little bit scientifically advanced. So as someone who was a big fan of the first season of the anime. Did I continue from there? That is not the point. This first omnibus really brought me back to why I enjoyed Attack on Titan in the first season. Reading it as a manga was really good, and I think that this could be the format that I continue with this story. The mystery of the world is what's really, really appealing to me, and it was really appealing to me in the anime, and it's far more appealing to me in this manga. I don't know if it's because things are coming back and I forgot some details, but I'm very interested in this. As well, the way that this omnibus ended, or the third volume, the way it ends, adds so much tension to the intricacies of the Titans and like where they come from, the mysteries behind them. And if you've watched the anime or read the mangas, then you know why. I remember a bit about what happens after these scenes, so I don't think the next omnibus will surprise me in any way, but I will definitely be picking up soon regardless, because I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I liked it just as much as the anime, and I went back to listen to that season 1 intro because that was perfection of an intro, if I do say so myself. Here's where I'm going to talk about my success and fail with this project. Today I plan on reading the next 3 volumes that I have for One Piece. So this is volume 3, and that's 7, 8, 9 of the actual volumes. And I think I'm going to stop my manga progress here. So basically, I wanted to use this month to read 31 mangas in 31 days, and I just feel like it's unrealistic with the other efforts that I want to put in this month, the other vlogs that I want to put in, and I wanted to read 31 mangas in 31 days to like really catch up on my progress. I wanted to feel successful with my reading this year. I wasn't below my like goal of 100 books this year at all, but I didn't feel like I was at the level that I normally am in July. So that was the goal and the reason behind the idea for this project. However, reading about 15 volumes in 15 days once I complete this makes me feel successful. It makes me feel like I read a lot of manga. I had a good time. I enjoyed pretty much everything that I read. So like the goal to be happy and feel successful with this happened. So I don't think I need to continue and stress myself more just to continue to read mangas and like speed through it in order to catch up while putting the rest of my reading behind. I think I want to end it with this volume. As we know, we got introduced to Sanji in the last omnibus volumes, and they are currently on the pirate restaurant ship that is being attacked, and Luffy's main goal is to like recruit Sanji to his crew so that he can have the ultimate pirate crew. So I'm very excited to see how this continues, and I think it's a great way to end this vlog. Hello, welcome back to, as I said, will be the end of the vlog, and I did in fact finish the 3rd omnibus of One Piece. So let's get into what I thought about this before we wrap up the entire vlog. Overall, I feel like I'm just having a really great time with this series. In this omnibus, we got 2 major backstories, and I feel like that really shaped the way that we view these characters and why Luffy is such a stan for these people, because he believes in them. And when we read their backstories, we really begin to understand why. I think the beginning portion with Don Greg was a little stretched out, but then we really wouldn't have gotten into what makes Sanji such a really interesting character and that development if not. So while it was a little difficult to continue reading, I really understand why it was done. And I think that the next villain that's been introduced in this East Blue saga is pretty threatening and pretty interesting, especially with the hold that he has on Nami, that I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm going to pick up the next omnibus for sure really soon. So overall, just because the beginning portion was a bit more of a stretch to get through, I ended up giving this 4 stars, and that completes the manga month, the manga readathon, the manga in 15 days. So let's go over like my overall thoughts of this event. It's not an event, but I kind of mentioned this yesterday, where in the beginning of the month I was really feeling down on my reading, on my video production, on just the way I was feeling in general about this channel, about just my reading overall. I didn't feel like I was as successful this year, and obviously I've had a lot going on, so it's not to anyone but myself that I haven't been successful, okay? It's just like in my brain, what's going on up here. So the purpose that I wanted to do for this month was that at least I was reading consistently every day, as long as I read a manga. While at the beginning of the month that was really helping me because it like sparked a want and a need to read. As I started to want to read, I began to lack the books that I actually wanted to read this month because I was so focused with just finishing a manga for the day. And I think that while in general it did really help me in the way that I wanted to, like it sparked my reading, it sparked my vlogging every day, my will to vlog, it ended up just becoming a drag. So I'm stopping it midway through the month because it did successfully do what I wanted it to do. It helps me get my reading back on track. It helps me feel like caught up to what I expect of myself for reading in the month. And I had a really good time. I don't think any of the manga I read was under a 3 stars. So overall, I ended up really enjoying this experiment. So is it a failure? I don't think so. I think Kelsey at the beginning of the month would have considered this a failure, but Kelsey, who's in a better mental state, is pretty happy about it. So let's wrap up everything I did read for this vlog. The first manga I read was The Girl from the Other Side Volume 4 by Nagabe, which I gave a 4 stars. After that, I read Yona of the Dawn Volume 4 by Mizuho Kusanagi, and I gave that 4 stars. Then I read So Cute It Hurts Volume 2 by Go Ikeyamada, and I ended up giving this 3 stars. And then we started with the cheating. So I read One Piece Omnibus Volume 2 by Ichiro Oda, and I gave this 4 stars. Then Full Metal Alchemist Omnibus Volume 5 by Hiromu Arakawa, and I gave this 4 stars. Attack on Titan, which was probably my most enjoyable read of the month, by Hajime Isayama, and I gave this 5 freaking stars. So exciting to re-envelop myself in the story and re-continue, like, oh, what a joy. And then of course ended off this experiment with One Piece Omnibus Volume 3 by Oda again, and I gave this a 4 stars. So a very, 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 very successful 2 weeks of manga reading. I really had a great time, and I hope you did too. Let me know down below if you've read any of these manga series and what you thought about them. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Let me know. And of course, if you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel, makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!